All right. Holy crap. This one worked. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cubist. My name is Bill Corey, and I am the technically challenged Cubist, apparently. Nothing works this week. But hey, we're here eventually. It's very exciting. Brandon also made it. Hi, Brandon.
I did. Hello. How are you?
Thank you. I'm well. I'm
good.
Flustered because this was dumb.
Say it like you mean it, Bill.
I am so happy. There's Patrick. Hi, Patrick.
Hey, are we live?
We are.
Oh, I thought it was an Memorex.
Yeah, no, that too. Shut up. All right. Yes, it worked. Okay, good. So everybody's jumping in. Awesome. Good. Sorry about the delay, folks. For some reason, Google Hangouts wasn't allowing us to actually start the stream, which is super weird, and I have no idea why.
But there was a good chat going on without us, so that's okay.
That's all right. We can have this good chat again. I believe in us. We got this. So, all right, let's see if we make this thing work. So, hey, welcome back. Cubist time. Let's talk about you know what? Screw it. Let's not talk about games we played at all, except for I want to hear Patrick talk about Drop It. Because I feel like watching Patrick Hillier play Drop It might be one of the best things that a gamer could witness.
There's actually some great pictures of me, Scott King, if you can go to his Twitter feed. Frustrated Patrick Hillier playing Drop It. So Drop It's a pretty simple game. It's a plastic tray, plastic
it's like a crane, right?
No, it's a plastic, two plastic shields together, and you drop pieces in between that are geometric shapes. And there's little lines in the plastic that are representing point rows. And you're trying to get the pieces to not, or to stack up and get you points based on what line they cross. The challenge is you're not allowed to have a square touch a square or a blue piece touch a blue piece. And along the edges there are fouls that you can't have a blue touch the edge or a square touch the edge, depending on which board you're playing. So these pieces have a tendency to bounce and slide, and it's very frustrating.
To say the least.
I feel like we just got Patrick's entire opinion of the game.
No, it's great because I bought it. I loved it.
Even though you were mad and frustrated?
Yeah. I don't mind being mad and frustrated because I love building in that type of game. So it's Ben says it's very Tetris-like. So you're taking a piece and you're dropping it down, trying to get it to land where it needs to go. And
so it's like physics-based Tetris.
It's a little bit of physics in it, yes. And a lot of it, too, is good planning, which I did not do last night. At the end, I ended up with like 3 circles and nothing, and all but circles at the top going, well, and I can't touch my own color or circles, and I basically couldn't drop anything and not get point. And just, you get no points if you touch something that you can't, if you have a foul. So
gotcha.
Ben asked, everything is wood. The pieces that you're dropping are sort of wood, and they have a tendency to bounce a lot.
Yeah.
Or roll around. Nothing goes where you want it to. So it's fun. It's
what player count did you play it at?
I played it at 2 with Cindy.
Okay.
But I played it at Craig Con 4-player, and boy, I was pretty. There was a lot of swear words being tossed around. So,
yeah,
but I tend to do that. I mean,
So I was definitely thinking of Lift It.
Yeah, I've got Lift It too. But no, this is less of a party game and more. It's a cute little lightweight game. Yeah, it's not heavy at all, but I enjoy it. Enjoyed it a lot.
Gotcha.
I saw it. I played at a game store this weekend, and when I saw it on the shelf, I snagged it because when I first saw it at Origins, who had it?
It's a Cosmos game.
Cosmos had it at Origins. I thought, yeah, that looks okay. That doesn't look that fun. It looks like Connect 4. Remember that? I was like, this is like Connect 4. How fun is that? And then I played it at Craig's birthday thing, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is so much fun! I need to buy it." And then when I saw it, I had to buy it. So there you go. On the Cubist, this is an instant buy.
Instant buy, huh?
Yeah.
Nice. I just placed the order today for giveaway games for this weekend's Extra Life Marathon. And now I wish I had waited.
There you go.
This would have been
So it
this would have been a
plays.
solid choice.
It plays different ways. There's 4 different colors. So if you're playing 2-player, you play 2 colors, and the person plays the other plays 2 colors, and then you can play 4-player with teams and or 4 players, and there's different options to play it different ways. So
Yep.
It's pretty cool. It's got a lot of flexibility for what seems like a really simple game.
Very cool. Very cool. So I'll buy it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Nice. I lied. I do want to talk about a game really fast because I want to talk about Lovecraft Letter. Have you played this?
No.
So this is the Lovecraft themed version of Love Letter. The mechanics are, I would say, 80% the same. So if you played Love Letter, you know the basic idea, which is that you have a hand of 1 card, you draw a card, play a card. You're trying to eliminate all the other players, or if the game ends and there's multiple players, have the highest ranked card. However, the whole deal behind it is that some of the cards in the deck have insanity effects, which are like more powerful effects. And if you play a card, if you have an insanity card in front of you because you played it already, then you could play future cards for their insanity effect. But every time you have an insanity card in front of you, you have to flip cards off the deck to check to see if you accidentally eliminate yourself. And so now every card has 2 potential effects, only one of which you can play. And if you use that effect, or if you are forced to play a card, you could end up eliminating yourself through no fault of your own. And I really like Love Letter and really dislike this. Like powerful levels of dislike. Love Letter works because it takes 2 minutes to explain it and 4 minutes to play a hand, right?
Yeah.
Like the reason that it works is because you're like, oh, I get it. Everybody, one hand in and you know everything and how it works. And this felt like it was just complexity for complexity's sake and ruined it. Well, not ruined because the system is still there, but it just overweighted a really good system. So this gets a resounding forget it from me. If somehow you are one of those weirdos, and I don't care if that sounds judgmental, that you played Love Letter and you were like, gosh, I like this. I just wish it had 3 times as many rules, then you'll love Lovecraft Letter. But if you are that person, I don't want to play Love Letter with you. Let's put it that way. It's a resounding forget it from me.
Ouch.
As a matter of fact, we quit. The group as a group was so dissatisfied with the game that we quit about 5 hands in. It's pretty, but that's it. It's not good.
I forget what I was playing this weekend. We were playing something this weekend. We almost quit it too. It's like, that's pretty rare for me to quit a game.
Yeah, I almost never quit any. I will always offer, if somebody else is clearly miserable playing whatever game we're playing, I will always offer to stop the game. I'll be like, I would rather just stop now and start something you will like than power through for another hour, and have you be miserable.
Yeah.
But it's very rarely me that is that person. In this case, I was very happy to get up and leave. I was like, no, we're good. We played 3 hands of it. And there's multiple cards of every denomination, especially the high one. So one of the hands, there were 2 8 cards in the deck, and the 2 remaining players both had them. And the rule is then nobody wins. So great. So then you slog through this 10, 15-minute hand of this game for no progress in the game whatsoever. Just bad. It's just bad. No, Bill does not track his plays with Post-its. He tracks which games people want to play in my collection. So there. All right, let's talk about Essen, because that's we got such a late start that I don't want to miss a bunch of stuff.
That's a town in Germany, right?
It is indeed a town in Germany where the Spiel fair was held last weekend and had a lot of doings, lots of goings on. So Brandon made a wonderful sort of bullet point list.
Brandon was at work and he was throwing stuff together, man.
Is that what there you go. No, that works. No, I'm not making fun of you. I'm saying thank you for making this list, because we talked about this pre-show. Patrick doesn't follow Essen at all, right?
Correct.
I follow it a little bit, but mostly I follow like some games that I really care about. We talked about this on the show last week, obviously. Brandon knows a lot about Essen. So Brandon you
follows it somewhat religiously for some silly reason, or as close to religiously as you can from, halfway across the globe.
So you are like our cult of the new priest. Like if there is a cult of the new, you are the high priest of the show. How about that? Is that you all right with that?
Yeah, sure. I was doing this whole thing, but
Yeah, huminous.
Yeah, humana.
What are we humming? I'm super confused. So last week on the show, we had Eric Yurko and we had Amanda Davis and Kimberly Rivia on, and we talked. We each sort of talked about a game that we were sort of excited for, or a couple of games that we were sort of excited for. And we could do that again. But in this case, I want to focus a little bit more on like what it seems like the group think got like the convention as a whole. So your bullet points, I like your first thing, man, Brendan. I'm sorry. I'm just sort of reading this because we didn't see this until recently.
He's offline, so go ahead and talk.
Oh, good. Well,
He's
with him. Now he's back. Darn it.
Sorry, I was interrupted for a moment.
That's okay. So a giant influx of new titles and a rush to get things to market, or is it just an influx of subpar publishers making it look that way?
So we had 1,400 things.
Yeah.
At
1,400.
Essen Spiel.
Mm-hmm.
We said 1,200 on the show last week.
Yeah, it was, 1,200, 1,400. Some are games, some are not games. Some things, books, other stuff get there. And what the resounding kind of media overarching thought was, it was kind of an average year. And my point to this is that it could be twofold. We are rushing things out because the iron is hot, right? You got to strike now.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get games out to the market. You got to get them sold. You got to get them out in people's hands. That's one reason, maybe, that we've seen these games that are just, they're good games. And there's nothing wrong with good games, but you're not seeing the games that are going to hold up, I don't think, over 10 years anymore. I don't think we're seeing them. Or it could be just that we've got an influx of so many do-it-yourself publishers, right? This whole Kickstarter phenomenon, this whole we can do it ourselves kind of phenomenon that maybe is watering down the field a little bit. So that's kind of what I'm hinting at with that. And that's what it feels like to me, is we're getting a lot of games, but not a lot of quality with it. The quality doesn't seem to be increasing with the volume like it should.
We have, it has become, I feel like we're going to end up coining the term. I mean, I know that other people have used it, but we've talked a lot about sevens on the show over the last month.
Yeah.
How we feel like there are a lot of sevens in the world and how sevens just straight up aren't a good enough number to be worthy.
They're good games. I mean, they're good games and people should play them and they should, enjoy them. But we're almost in a throwaway kind of thing, right? Where we play games one or two times, you see the depth of them, you see everything that you want to see out of them, and you're done with them. Now, we are not the majority of gamers.
That's true.
I remind myself of that. Mm-hmm. So, other people see things a little differently than we do. But this is just kind of how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, and that is a good point, right? Like, okay, so I'm just going to pick up. I'm looking right now at the Geek Buzz leaderboard, okay, which was something that you were kind enough to show us. This is the list of games that were getting the most buzz at Spiel, right? Is that,
like I said, Geek Buzz can easily be manipulated by the publishers there at the booths. They
right,
can,
but like that's the booth at Gen Con. Sometimes that's the booth like next to the BGG booth, right?
Yeah, what was it this year? It was the Gorus Maximus guy had the hotness the whole time, and it's just comical. But not taking anything away from that game, it just, that's not the hotness of Gen Con. So yeah, that's easily manipulated, just like any other kind of popular vote is or anything like that.
Okay, but I mean, I'm looking at the top of that Geek Buzz list here, and none of these feel like throwaway titles.
No, they're not. I don't think so.
None of this also feels like it was artificially inflated. Every game on here, except maybe 2, I feel like I have heard a lot of people talking about.
Yeah, Chronicles of Crime in the top 5 is kind of weird to me, but it's got that Kickstarter endowment where everybody knows about it, so they're just going to vote for it anyway. And it had been delivered, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and all that fun stuff. Everdell and Coimbra are kind of holdovers from Gen Con, right? But the top 2, I think, are probably going to be your standouts, regardless, and that's going to be.
Well, okay, so first off, let's all acknowledge the Azul bias that is my friend Brandon Kemp here.
This is a more gamey, and we're going to have like 3 copies for you to play, Bill.
Oh, good. Yay. I'm so excited to get yet more opportunities to play this.
And then Teotihuacan is also.
I'm sorry, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, I'm just going to run through it really fast so nobody questions it. So thank you. Teotihuacan.
I thought we were going to let Patrick try and pronounce it.
He can certainly do it.
Sure.
Sure I can. I absolutely can do that thing. All right. So my point is, I'm looking at this first list, the Geek Buzz list. Okay. And Azul, I grumble about it, but it's
for all your curmudgeonly
nothing wrong
ways. You're wrong about Azul and you're wrong about El Grande. So.
There's nothing wrong with Azul.
There you go. Thomas wins.
Oh, did he win? Okay.
Yeah. Whatever. Azul stained glass.
Go ahead.
Okay. So we have Azul stained glass of Sintra.
Yeah.
Teotihuacan is how I would say it.
Okay.
It's probably wrong, but whatever.
No, you're probably closer than me. Just
Coimbra, Everdell, Chronicles of Crime. I do agree that one feels a little janky. Blackout Hong Kong. This is one of the ones that
huge.
I didn't hear much about until then.
Oh. Well, it was a very last-minute addition to theirs. That's the Pfister kind of co-op in it, and we'll have that to play the next week or the middle of November too. So it sounds good as well.
Sure. Gugong, I'm probably saying that wrong too.
That one kind of surprised me. It got a lot of kickback because of the theme.
The theme, yeah.
And they went and they changed the name, and I think they changed some of the art direction on it, and they got things right. They actually listened to people. They had like wrong centuries and people interact. It was just kind of weird all through it. But I think they got it right, and I think people were generally really impressed with it, which kind of shocked me.
Everything that I've heard was that the gameplay was great, and the theme was the only problem they had with it.
Yeah.
That was what I had heard from the get-go.
Yep.
So, I mean, and that's fine. Brass Birmingham, I'm a little bit surprised to see here just because...
the Kickstarter endowment.
Yeah,
I suppose. Here's Architects of the West Kingdom. And the pre-show, I was talking about how surprised I was to see this, because I feel like this is a game that don't feel like I've heard any organic buzz about. Everything I've heard about has just been from
and lists. I don't know if this was even Renegade pushing this at Gen Con or at Essen Spiel. Maybe it was Garpil. Because that's who originates it, right? And then Renegade brings it over to us.
Sure.
So it may have been Garpil kind of pushing that one, but
maybe. All I know is that Renegade Game Studios is a 5-year-old company with 12 pages of entries on BGG. I just want to throw that out there. 5 years, 12 pages.
Yeah.
That's 120 entries, ballpark, at least 110.
Yeah.
Page 12 isn't full. So that's a lot. And I think that is almost in and of itself like a good little like sample of what we were talking about how many games are are we going to care about any of these in 2 years?
Yeah, it's unfair really for us to sit back and say we won't, right? But
no, it's not, because
it's
I can
not
look
really
at the
all that
from last year and I don't care
they're
about
not all that really
now.
inspiring. Will I be playing Azul in 2-3 years? Yeah, probably I will be. This new one, maybe not so much. We'll see.
I will say, like Coimbra,
Teotihuacan, will I be playing that next week? I don't know, because it's 3 freaking hours long and ain't nobody got time for that.
Well, you're talking to the wrong guy here. I'm down for.
Yep. It's really funny to me.
See, Coimbra as an example, I played that for the first time last week. Yeah. That was the game I was originally going to talk about on the show tonight. That game feels like it's got staying power, if for no other reason than because I had no idea what the hell I was doing that whole first play. And it's rare that I feel that way while I'm playing a game. So that automatically, to me, made it feel like something that I could see myself still playing in a year.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah,
the chat room
Chad kind of brings up something here too that I touched on. I was having a conversation elsewhere. Is maybe publishers, while that they are saying yes to a lot of things that in previous years they just say flat out no to. They'll be like, maybe we can do this or this with it, develop it just a smidge and get it out there, and maybe that's good enough to sell us 1,000 copies.
So, I mean, is that really what it is? Is the bar has just been lowered at this point?
I don't know if the bar has been lowered or if,
because that's what this feels like.
It feels like a bubble, but we won't call it a bubble
for 3 years.
But we won't call it a bubble because we can't call it a bubble. It's not a bubble.
You can't call it a bubble till it pops. That's nobody ever calls anything a bubble until it explodes, right?
Yeah.
Like there wasn't a housing bubble until it all went to hell in 2009, right? Like there wasn't a .com bubble until it all went to hell in 2000. That's just,
What did Scott Nicholson say this weekend? He said it felt like the Atari 2600 bubble, basically.
So we're just waiting for ET to get published?
We're all this crap's just getting thrown here until we just collapse upon ourselves.
Well, okay. So Netter said something a little above there. We're turning into throwawayers. Cult of the New is fueling Cult of Cull. I agree, but I think that we don't acknowledge it. Like, I mean, obviously we are right now, you and me, Netters, and anybody else that happens to agree with us in this moment. But here's why I say that. Does everybody remember the crazy amount of crankiness that happened when legacy games started getting published? And people started saying things like, well, what do you mean I'm only going to get 20 plays out of this game or 18 plays or whatever, and then it's never going to be playable again? And we have all said, like, I feel like every single person that is pro legacy said from the get-go, man, if I get any of my games to the table 15 times, I am excited as hell that I've gotten that much mileage out of it.
Yep.
So why is it that we're okay with buying, with 1,400 games being published when we know we're not going to play any of them more than 5 times?
Yeah.
But the idea of a game that's designed with that knowledge in mind is so repugnant. There's a cognitive dissonance here, right? Like there are two schools of thought that are fighting at the moment. It feels like in publishing. Because remember we used to talk about how important replay value was, right? Like it was so important to have variable setups and all this other stuff. I don't think it matters now, or at least it doesn't matter as much because nobody's playing these games 20 times. Or maybe not nobody, but maybe us pundit types aren't. Tastemakers, was that what you called me before?
Yeah.
You terrible human being. I am not a tastemaker. If I was, nobody would play El Grande, and they're all still playing El Grande. So... But do you see what I mean? Like how many of these games do we really care about in the grand scheme of things right now?
Oh, it's completely ridiculous for us to sit back and look at 1,400 games as a whole and judge things based on that.
Sure.
What's the old rule? Is it the 80-20 rule? In common sense, we should just throw 80% of this away and not even think about it, because only 20% of it is worth our time. And then once you get that 20%, we knock it down to that. And I forget what the theory is called. There's a whole theory about it, but
it's called the 80-20 rule. And then
that's the 80-20 rule. Yeah. If you break it down further. Yeah.
Yeah. And here's the deal. The long tail of gaming, right? Where, there are the games that you hang on to, even though they're old, even though that they maybe aren't perfect, but you'll still play them once in a while. Which everybody has those in their collection, right? Like everybody's got that part of their collection that they can't bring themselves to get rid of because they know it'll get played, but they don't want to play it every week. Isn't a publishing strategy. And that's where I see a lot of these games landing, right? Like that's how this feels like this is going to end up to me. I'm moving the goalpost a little bit because I'm trying to transition out of there's too many games, because we can just shout that for an hour. And we all know, but it feels to me like we have hit peak publishing. Like we're just to the point where we can no longer sustain this level of publishing volume?
Well, we'll sustain it.
You think so?
As long as we keep getting this influx. Yeah, we keep bringing in this influx of new gamers. We keep, and the lowering of the bar. I don't know.
But I just heard a show that said the bar is going up, that people are buying better or interested in higher quality, not high quality. I'm talking about content. I'm just talking about higher price, more bling, more stuff that,
Yeah, people want more stuff. I don't think people necessarily want more quality.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's money out there to be made.
There is.
People are making these games.
And that's
the bubble isn't there. The market hasn't faded. You're talking about two different things here.
Okay.
Right?
Because if the money wasn't there, the games wouldn't be getting published. So therefore the money is there. So therefore there isn't a bubble.
Right. There's a market for games. Maybe we're not happy with the quality of the games, or maybe we are. There's too many of them, but not everyone is a gaming aficionado, right?
Yeah, and not everyone
family gamers, and
yeah. Not everyone needs the IGA award winner on their shelf being played all the time, or whatever award winner you want. I fully understand that, and that's why I kind of think it's ridiculous for us to be talking about. But I still do it all the time.
Yeah,
because you always want things to get better. Even if that family's coming in and they're buying exploding whatever kittens, you want them to move in and keep looking for better and better games, right? But the truth is, most of them don't.
I guess. I don't know. I'm really torn on this, right? Because part of me wants to see the industry continue to expand. And not just because I'm a fan of the industry, but also because the more voices, the more competition, theoretically, right? This is how capitalism is built on this. The idea that if you get multiple competitors, that you will get a higher quality product over time. And that's effectively what we're talking about here, right? But
yeah,
we're also talking about a system where it just feels like the hype machine's out of control. I don't know, there are too many topics. I'm jumping around a little bit. And
I know. Yeah, it
was partially me. Netters asked something in the chat a little bit ago, and I want to touch on this really fast. Have you all considered getting rid of 80% of your collection? If so, then why haven't we done it? If not, why are we holding on to them? I think that's a really interesting question.
Because I'm a hoarder.
Yeah, well, and that's part of it, right? Like part of it is just people like to have. I mean, I'm currently in front of a wall of games, right? I don't play most of these games in any given calendar year. Well, that's probably not true, but I mean, it's definitely been at least months since I played most of them. There are definitely some games on my shelf that have been years since they've been played.
Now, I'm a pack rat, and I like being that library. I've always said that. I like having that game that you can break out and be like, well, have you seen this? Well, neither have I for the past 3 years, but we're going to do this now.
Yes.
and I like that part of it. If I got rid of 20% or 80%, I'd be down to 120 games. That's a fantastic collection.
I was going to say that's I tell people when newer gamers come over or they see a picture of my game wall, they're like, holy crap, Bill, that's a lot of games. And I just start laughing. They're like, what's so funny? I'm like, no, you don't understand. Compared to most of the people that I know that have real collections, my collection is nimble. Like I have because I get rid of games real fast.
Yeah, a guy cracks me up. The minimalist over in England. He's trying to he's got like 30 or something.
35.
Did you hear he's thinking of dropping it to 10 to 12?
Yeah. I was like, what games? I mean,
how do you pick 10 games, the only 10 games you want to own?
Yeah.
You know how you do that?
Unplayed games right here.
You know how you do that though? You have regular game groups with other people that aren't you.
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
Right?
You live in a different environment. I know.
Yeah.
They're mine, my preciouses. Yes, Tom, that is. See, and I think you are
my question, Bill.
What?
Oh, Ben. Sorry, Ben has good. Sorry, I was interrupting. Go ahead.
He's got the most games in the libraries right now. I bet you I am in a distant third place compared to these two.
I'm in the 1,000 items category.
Oh God, I'm not even close to that.
Yep, Patrick's got me. I'm at like 600. The influx will be about 30 plus here in the next week or two, just with Essen stuff coming in. But
gotcha.
Yeah,
for some reason my chat's lagging a little bit behind, so I'm just seeing things a little bit later than.
I mean, if you want to feel normal, the opinionated gamers, the thing that you did, Bill, with the interview that Chris did, they actually have. He found. I forgot what their name is. Dang it! I'm going to kick myself. It's a couple out of Colorado who have like about 14,000 games. So we're going to get a little insight there if you want to watch that here in a little bit. Watch for that one.
Yikes! There's a dude that lives here in Wisconsin, up in Baraboo, I believe, who is trying to amass the world's largest board game collection and thinks he has it. He sent me a video that he took on his phone of him walking through the stacks of his basement, and he had to walk sideways to get through some of the stacks because he had his basement so full that he could not just walk like a normal human being.
Yeah.
So he had to walk like an Egyptian or something?
No, he had to like do the side like wiggle thing through the thing because his shoulders are wider than the gap. It's insane.
Yep. All right. Speaking of a lot of games, let's get back to Essen.
Okay. Essen. See, thank you for keeping me on task. How good you are at this.
One thing I noticed, and I'm going to do this, and I don't know if you see it or anything, is last year, most years you get a good kind of glimpse at what's coming for the SDJs from Essen Spiel.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see that really this year. There's not. Stained Glass of Century isn't going to be an SDJ. If it gets a nom, it'll be a KDJ. Tehuatihuacan is way too heavy for either of them. So you don't really see these SDJ level games here in this hotness or in anything really.
Welcome.
So it's really kind of weird to me. What?
Welcome to
Scurvy Baby? Isn't that supposed to be?
Oh, Scarabia.
What?
Did you call it Scurvy Baby?
Oh my.
And so, and this is also something though that I notice is it's based on who we follow, right? And
sure.
BGG isn't really the guide for SDJ.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah,
they surprise us all the time.
So maybe we shouldn't look at that. But then I look at the Fair Play, which is what I kind of put more weight on than BGG hotness. Fair Play, as far as I know, they don't hire scouts. They pick scouts, people who do media people, reviewers, things like that, to go out and they kind of rate games based on what they play. And so here comes this really weird title that basically won the Fair Play list of Belrati. It's a
oh God, here we go.
It's a small box game, just like you see
that you're going to own 200 copies of in the next week, right?
Oh, we are. Behind Patrick, you see that Pete Metz. It's basically an Amigo Spiel size game, a card game about some aardvark warthog rat artist named Belrati. He's like a weird. If you look at pictures of it, he's just weird. And it's just this really weird co-op game that has kind of took Essen by storm. And that's the kind of stuff that comes out of Essen that should excite us,
Yeah.
This won some kind of award. I forget what it was called over in Germany before the show. So people knew about it. But it's just a really neat little cooperative title where you're trying to figure out who's the real. Everybody, half the team is artists, half the team are show or own galleries. And so there's the topic, and so everybody puts out a piece of art that they think matches the topic, and then some random ones go in from Belrati because he's a big faker and he sells fake art to these galleries, and it's our job to figure out and suss out what it is. And apparently this was like the big thing. So
that's great.
Playing 14 copies of it at once at
I just love the 14 copies at once art.
Yep. Every table. Belrati.
Your favorite piece of art from the show, right?
There was another game that somebody posted that was a real weirdo one. It was like Depressed Pandas or something. It was like a Japanese game, and that was like the only word on the whole cover that you could read was just like these sad pandas.
A sad panda game?
Yeah.
Nice. I missed that one entirely.
Mm-hmm.
I missed that entirely. All right. So Essen itself isn't just about the games. I want to rant for 30 seconds and say whoever the scumbags were that were stealing money from Essen, I hope you die in a fire. I won't set the fire, but screw you.
It happens every year, and you'd think something like this that they would have
security worth of crap,
but they really don't.
They have cameras that they aren't recording through.
Yeah,
so that's useful. Good job.
Yeah, somebody else talked about lack of security. I don't know if that's the case or not.
Yeah.
Hub Games is the one that I heard about first. They're the ones that published Holding On, The Troubled Life of Billy Kerr.
Rumors are between 3 to 5 were hit. They caught one person. Good. I guess they caught him in the act of trying it again. And so it must be like a crew running and doing this, because the next day another one was hit. So
I hope they super glue his nostrils together.
Yeah.
That's what Is that too visual? I'm sorry, but I have no patience for thieves, especially for these are small companies. Like
the going thought is these aren't gamers that are coming in and do this. These are just people who are thieves who are coming in there knowing what they're doing.
Sure.
And
well,
so they don't know. I mean, I doubt they know that these are small companies, honestly.
Right. I doubt they care.
I'm trying to moralize this. This is weird.
Yeah. I don't think they care at all. I think they're just jerks.
But I mean, I won't say what booth I worked for, but I worked for a booth and we just had a cash box under a table, and I was nervous as hell dealing with that. It wasn't that much cash, but it was just sitting in a box under a table, just a bunch of cash, and I'm supposed to be demoing games, not paying attention to the cash box, and it made me nervous.
Yep. At Geekway, I just direct everybody to Stephen Bonacore when I was working for him. They hand it to that guy. He can handle it, not me. I don't want it.
Right.
Or just, I mean, it's almost getting to the point now where you feel like you're just going to have to stop dealing in cash, right?
Yeah, but that's got to be a problem. I mean, even Gen Con is just now figuring out how to fix it where everybody can run machines. I remember going, what was it? Was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago that they had issues running my card like every other booth. So because you're losing signal because there's just so much crap going on.
Well,
so it's got to be difficult.
Yeah, and people's like theft alert,
that happened to me at Gen Con.
It happened to me at BGG where my card was like, wait, you're not normally in Dallas, and then wouldn't let anything go through.
Mine got me. It let it run through, and then they called me 20 minutes later. So real good job there.
So, I mean, I get that there are hurdles there, and I'm not saying that I think that that's the answer. I obviously think that all of the thieves should be loaded into a rocket and launched into the sun. I mean, that's my answer. Yes, I'm soft on crime. Nathan, thank you for pointing that out. I appreciate that. But that just pisses me off. As somebody that worked as an exhibitor for a lot of years at big conventions, I just have no patience for those kind of people. None. Zero, zip. And I just pissed me off, especially like Holding On, The Troubled Life of Billy Kerr. I think it was what company got hit that pissed me off the most, because that game is all about like telling a really interesting, emotional, touching story. And then for them to be there's just something poetically unjust about them getting robbed specifically to me. I don't know. Yeah. So
for all the bad things that happened,
there was no Nazi punching.
There was no Nazi punching. We didn't hear about anybody manhandling the help. We didn't hear about any yet, and we haven't heard any big, huge sexual harassment yelling. And I'm really happy for that. Maybe they're a bit more civilized than us in ways, but less in others.
And they had that potato tornado.
the spiral potato.
Yes.
Wait, what? All right,
I see pictures of that.
What the hell are you talking?
I want to go to Essen just to get a potato.
Just to have a spiral potato.
A spiral cut potato.
Yep.
They sell those things. Like you can do that.
I know that. I know. I have a potato.
Of course you have a spiral potato slicer. Of course.
Yeah, but can you go buy like 1,400 games and have a spiral potato in your hand at the same time here? No, you can't.
No. You can have 1,000 games in a spiral cut potato.
Just so we're clear, I just feel like that's a business opportunity waiting to happen.
It is.
Patrick,
I'm getting a Gen Con booth next year for spiral potatoes.
For spiral potatoes. You know what? The next food truck.
Millions.
Oh, they caught the guy that hit Hub Games. Good. Did they load him into a rocket and launch him into the sun? No, probably not. Damn it. All right. Fine.
No, there's pictures of him. He's handcuffed. Apparently, he had a taser or something in there just in case. But yeah.
Wait, he had a taser? The thief did?
Yep.
Wow.
So
what a piece of crap.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm better now. All right. All right. So what are the big, real fast? Let's just go back through this. What's the one game that you are most excited for? And yes, you got to pick one. And I will disqualify Eclipse 2nd Edition because it was only a demo and it won't be out for another 4 months. So I won't be boring. Number one, right into the sun. Thank you, Chad. That's what they should do, damn it. That's money well spent. All right. Patrick.
Cool Runnings.
Cool Runnings.
You have make ice cubes. They move around the board and they melt. As part of the game.
I can't tell if
you're no, I'm completely serious. Flip the Table has talked about this. Flip Flory has the original version, like he found like in a garage sale kind of game, and they've remade it as a real game, and now you too can buy a game that involves ice cubes, and this is kind of the funky, weird stuff that I am totally into.
Like if you look behind Patrick's shoulder there, he plays something called Ear War, and I've never heard of this.
War.
Hang on, let's focus on Patrick so we can find Ear War.
What the heck is the Ear War?
It's Nuclear War.
Yeah,
Nuclear War.
He's being a smart aleck.
I played that this weekend.
Yep.
Nice. Tom in the chat says Captains of the Gulf, Jason Dinger's game. Yeah.
It looks big and it looks like a Chitester kind of game.
Perfect. All right, Cool Runnings is yours, huh?
Yes, that's right on top of my list right here.
All right, I like it. All right, how about you, Brandon?
You know, honestly, oh God, why are you going to make me pick one?
You made me pick one.
Because I'm making everybody pick one because that's the thing.
Because I've got like 15.
No, one, sir, one.
Let's go with Fuji.
Okay,
I'm not going to tell you anything about it.
Why not?
I don't know. It's a cooperative dice rolling game by Wolfgang Warsch, who you many know his name, right?
Heard of him? Yeah.
You heard he's kind of a big deal.
He's sort of a big deal these weeks.
He's kind of a big deal right now. It's got art by Weberson Santiago, I believe is his name, the guy who did the Brazilian Coup and did the Bloody Inn. Really cool artwork. Mm-hmm. And it's a cooperative dice rolling game where you are trying to escape the volcano. You try to escape into your thing. But it's got a really interesting mechanic that everybody rolls their dice in secret. And in order to move where you choose to move, you have to have dice that match the space that are better or higher than the people to your left or your right. And you have to do this with limited communication. So there is some secretive things going on and everything like that. So this is what I'm honestly looking forward to more than anything, is playing Fuji and being aggravated at my neighbors.
Nice. All right. That one sounds kind of cool. I think Wolfgang Warsch just has a really interesting... He has a really interesting, it feels like, take on modern gaming right now. Like he's just doing some really weird, fun stuff.
Yep. And he had a new rolling right there too, called Bricks. So
yeah. Which
I guess everybody's gotten already. You can do print and play stuff for it, but
yeah, I realized it was locked. I undid it. Sorry about
that. Chad, Shadows of Amsterdam does not really exist. We're pretty sure.
What? What do you mean it doesn't?
I'm joking. Sorry.
Lovecraft Letter. Massacres. What name? I'm super confused. All right. I have lost track of the chat room entirely for some reason.
Did I butcher Thomas's last name?
I don't know. Who the hell knows?
Bye, Netters.
I really want... I talked about it last week very, very briefly, but I cannot wait to play Futuropia. Even though the name makes my eye twitch, because it should be Futuretopia.
It's second on my list, Bill.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a Freeze fan.
Yep, me too. And it feels like a long time since we've gotten a good heavy economic game out of him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really hoping that he return like his good heavy roots here, in something that just will have some legs. And I have faith, and I'm excited. And I really want there to be another T in that name. And it drives me crazy. I ranted about it last week, and I continue to rant about it until I get a marker and I put it in there myself, because I probably will, because it'll make me crazy. That's the only one that I'm super worried about, besides Captain of the Gulf. And Captains of the Gulf is mostly because Jason Dinger's a great guy, and I'm really excited for him.
I mean, Fortune is supposed to be really top notch as far as what is that series called that Friedman's doing for Stronghold and 2F?
Oh, the Fast Forward series?
Yeah, that's supposed to be probably the best one of that series, and it's coming for you. He redid Foppen, so we've got it coming. Friedman should have had a really good show.
One of these days, I'm just going to drop like $150 and I'm going to buy all the Fast Forward games and be done with it, because I have yet to play any of them except for the one that I played with you, Fabled Brood, which was like the first of, and that's technically not one of
that's
those,
not a
right?
Fast Forward game. Or that's not a Fast Forward. That's a Fable game, I think is what he called those.
It's a legacy game.
It sort of is, weirdly enough.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I'm just teasing.
Sort of. Right. I enjoyed it for what it was. I didn't need to own it.
Yeah.
But, like, I want to try all the rest of them just because I know that they're not all good. I've heard some people say some are better than others, and this one's kind of lame. But
yeah.
Hey, Fitz, stop it. Sorry, I have to yell at my cat. Sorry.
Fitz is trying to get him to play El Grande.
Anyway. No. I would not keep him if that was the case. No, he's found something on the ground and he's trying to eat it. Stop it. All right. So that's our one game. Chat room, thank you so much for being so patient. I'm sorry that you got sort of an abridged show here. But this stupid, whatever the hell this issue was that we had with, I'm trying to figure out a better way to do this besides just Google Hangouts. I've got those of you that keep an eye on the channel, you may have noticed that I did Let's Learn for the classic card game Pinochle this past week. That was mostly just a tech test to make sure that the rig worked, and it worked great. Got lots of good feedback on there, except for that it was a little laggy at first, but it got better. So I'm excited as soon as we can figure out a way to get multiple voices in remote places on the show. We're going to change things up a little bit. So hopefully it'll get easier in future weeks. Yes, I know Twitch is a great answer. The problem is getting multiple people in one stream on Twitch. That's the struggle. It isn't YouTube that's the issue now. It's the Google Hangouts dilemma. But quick plugs, really fast. This weekend is the Extra Life Charity Marathon to benefit Children's Hospital of Wisconsin. This is the big push where I'm got close to halfway to the donations. For every $25 you donate, you're going to have the chance to win a prize. A bunch of them generously donated by one Brandon Kemp. I've got a bunch of stuff to give away over there, including Shaky Manor. Looks kind of like a big deal. I'm excited for that one.
That's fun.
Yeah, and a couple other neat stuff. I just bought a bunch of games that I'm going to be giving away there, including a copy of Reef, a copy of The Precious. Azul. We're going to give away a copy of that. Yeah. What? What are you looking at me like that for?
Nothing. I'm so going to win that.
You're going to win my copy of Azul? Good. You can add it to the 8 other copies you've already got. We're going to give away a copy of, I think it's Decrypto. I think it's Decrypto.
Oh, that's fun.
Solid game.
Yeah. So we're giving away
I should get kicked out of the game at the Punchboard Media meetup at Origins.
Why'd you get kicked out?
Because I suck.
Oh.
Nice.
It's really kind of a difficult one.
Chad, if you really want to win a pair of my underpants, I'll just send you a pair. That's the weirdest thing I've ever said on the internet, but I don't care. It's fine. It's Chad. You know, he's got his own quirks. Maybe it's Doris that's asking through him. Maybe that's what it
could be. She could be logged in.
There you go. Doris, thank you. I'm just going to assume it's you. And we're just going to assume that it's Doris that is hacked into Chad's account. So anyway, if you want to donate, at this point, Prize donations, not super helpful unless you're willing to do the shipping. But if you'd like to donate money, we would love that. You can go to Bill Corey Jr., BILLCOREYJR.com, and that will automatically direct you to my fundraising page on extralife.org. And I would appreciate all the donations in the world. We have a goal set of $1,000. We're not quite. Oh, I don't have any problem signing it. That's fine with me.
You mean you don't sign yours automatically when you
not
get
normally? No.
I do.
I stopped going to camp. They don't send me to camp anymore. I don't have to worry about it like I used to. It's fine.
I got a Sharpie just for this.
Exactly. But yeah, BillCoreyJr.com. Donate whatever you can. If you cannot donate, and I know that everybody has their own financial burdens they have to bear, I completely understand. Do me a favor, signal boost. Tell people that you know that this is a great way to donate. I would really appreciate that, because Children's Hospital Wisconsin is a big deal for a lot of people that I care a lot about in this area. So we'd love to raise a bunch of money. We're even talking about doing a couple cool. We're going to live stream the whole thing, by the way. Oh yeah, we're going to live stream the whole thing. Make sure you're subscribed. Turn on the bell. We're going to have live streams going all 25 hours. Yeah, 25 hours, because
I notice I didn't get asked back to play Keep Talking and No One Explodes. So,
well, not yet.
I'll take that as a hint.
Yeah, were you terrible?
I was terrible.
You were terrible.
I was terrible.
Eric was amazing. Like, Eric was really good. You were real bad, and I feel like Kimberly was sort of in the middle. I don't remember. But yeah, we'll probably do that too. But we're gonna do one of the things we're gonna do, by the way. Hey, that's right. We're gonna have a play along here. At some point on Saturday night, we are going to do live play-alongs where you can, you watching the show right there, can play along with us. We're going to play a couple of games that we have figured out you can play remotely. By the first one, we're going to play Take It Easy. If you have a copy of that, the classic game, that can be played by anybody. Yep. And we're also going to play Welcome To, which can be played because maybe we'll have Patrick be the official card flipper, or maybe we'll do it. I don't really know. We haven't figured that out yet. But we're going to play a couple of play-along games later on in the evening. So, and then there's going to be a lot of other fun stuff that's going to be hitting the table over the span of the thing. We're going to have a game of the mind going at some point, probably once it gets good and late and everybody's a little bit slappy. We're going to have a couple other big games. There is talk of perhaps Twilight Imperium 4th edition getting played at the
there
marathon.
Goes a quarter of your marathon.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see how that plays out. I don't know if that's going to happen or not.
Followed up with the Colonists, and you got half your night scheduled.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. The Colonists might actually happen. That legitimately could happen, because that might be a good, because the turns are so short, that might actually work. I don't know. But we'll see.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway. Oh yeah, and there will be some werewords for sure, Ben. No doubt about that. Werewords is one of those good, silly games that you can knock out a whole bunch of games of. So anyway, BillCoreyJr.com if you want to donate, right here on the YouTube channel if you want to watch or play along. We will post specific events for all the play along games as we get closer to, and I get the schedule a little bit more dialed in. But I'm really excited. So thank you so much. Eclipse. Yeah, there you go. All right. I like it. So Twilight Imperium 4th, then Colonists, then Eclipse, then we all go home. All right.
I believe that's colonists.
Colonists? That works. That works.
It's back to the underwear time.
Doris, what is wrong with you today? God, Doris, I don't expect this from you. Chad, maybe, but not you. So thank you, everybody in the chat room, for bearing with us through all the horrible technology mishaps that we had earlier. Hopefully it'll get better. We'll see. So anyway, have a fantastic week of gaming, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Patrick and Brandon, thank you for sticking with it tonight. I really appreciate it. We'll talk to you all again next week. Be good.
Bye.